Hello, my friends and fellow VEDSies. It is decidedly not VEDS anymore. Sorry it took me like 2 solid weeks to get to video 30, but here I am. This is sort of a post-VEDS video anyway. I'm going to talk a little bit about my own content from this month and share some responses to some of the videos my other wonderful fellow VEDSies made. I was going to say this month, but last month, you know how it is. It's like October 12th now when I'm filming this, but that's okay. First of all, I just wanted to say that I'm proud of us. I was just talking with Alicia on a recent adventure day we had together about how it's pretty crazy that we're all continuing to do this as we enter that. I assume we're all of relatively similar ages, late 20s, early 30s period in our lives where things get, hectic and busy. We all felt very in sync in our hectic and busy schedules this month. And a few of us got a little bit behind. I was happy to get 26 videos out during the actual month, and then I got a couple out the week after, and then now it's a couple weeks later, like I said. And I know the same thing happened with a couple of y'all, but I'm just glad, that we're still making the effort. In life, often friends can drift apart at times because life just goes different directions. And with this cool little online community, we can still kind of see each other even though our lives are getting pulled in different directions. And I'm just really glad that we're making the effort to be there, even though, like I said at the beginning of the month, I didn't really reasonably know how I was going to make 30 videos. I'm so glad we're all still trying, and I get to see all y'all's updates, and a big congratulations to people like James and Jeffrey who got every video in, all 30. I think both of you had every video up on the day that you were supposed to put it up, which is no small feat. I know James has been effectively working on VEDS videos pretty much all year round in comparison for this month and executed his plan flawlessly. And I will get into some video responses here. But before I get into all y'all's wonderful videos, I'd like to talk about my own content, or at very least address how I kind of veered in the last couple weeks of VEDS into becoming a RuneScape channel. I didn't mean to. I did decide near the beginning of VEDS that I was gonna... I never really announced it as a theme, but my kind of in my head theme was that I was just gonna kind of lean into my hyperfixations and make some Kiss videos and maybe make a RuneScape video or two and talk about some other things that because as y'all know about me, if you've seen my videos, if I like something, I tend to learn everything about it and then share that information with all of y'all. But yeah, I just wanted to make. I thought the idea of doing a live stream. I know James did a video game live stream last year. I think it was last year, and I thought that was really cool. I know y'all did a Monster High live stream that I really enjoyed this year. Watched the whole thing. It was very fun. And so I decided, why not? Every year I try to do one thing that's outside my usual comfort zone, so I did that. There were some specific quests from when I was a kid that I really enjoyed that I wanted to do. And I found out that I had a few quests I had to do to even get to those. And I figured, why not just run the streaming software and make a couple of episodes. I remember in the first episode I made, I kind of tentatively voiced a couple of characters. And then I started doing that more and more as it went on. And one thing led to another. And as you guys can tell, I just got completely addicted with making those videos. And since it can be hard to find motivation in VEDS, I, again, like I said I was going to do, chose to just fully lean into that. So yeah, I made like 4 or 5 different episodes of the Let's Play series. To be honest, every one of those videos wound up like taking up my entire day that day to make. Like, for some reason I wound up like spending 6 to 8 hours on each of those videos, and I just had so much fun to the point where now I'm like fantasizing about creating a RuneScape side channel, but I can't do that because I have enough content related things I'd like to make. But it was super fun. Thank you for letting me go down that rabbit hole. Sorry if I totally alienated y'all by focusing on one semi-obscure topic the entire last couple weeks of the month, but I just had so much fun making those. And we're going to basically be a Kiss themed channel for the next couple of weeks. I want to make, but I've made like 25 different videos over the last several years, chronicling Kiss's history. I did one this month, and I'd like to get the last 4 out of the way before I go on my Kiss concert seeing extravaganza in November, which I will, of course, also be vlogging. Alright, as this video, like all of mine, is going to progress to be way too long, I am going to move on to the video responses portion of the festivities. And I'm going to start with Abby for alphabet reasons. Abby, I liked a lot of the stuff you did. Of course, I stand with all of the fellow VEDSies in really adoring the Rickroll through titles. I, like everybody else, didn't see it coming at all. Didn't put 2 and 2 together from any of the thumbnails you were making. Which, it's funny, there was a period in my life where I would have been more aware of that. There was an era where people were, like, doing that in even, like, resumes and stuff. I wouldn't do it on a resume. But people would, like, put it into official documents where it would read, "Never gonna give you up." And for a while, people were a little on edge looking for the NEV, trying to start the phrasing, but I never picked up on it. It was such a reveal. I loved the way you edited together all those thumbnails to show the mastery of that joke. That was so good. I really enjoyed that. I liked your Is It Haunted little miniseries. I guessed right every single time. And then, of course, I would be remiss if I did not respond to your Steam Clock Ideas video. I didn't expect anyone to latch on to my Steam Clock rant very much. I never really, it's not like something that's been stewing in me for a long time. It just kind of, I've noticed that there's so many tourists on that block at all times, so I decided to go on a mini rant for some reason, and people seem to enjoy that. But I liked your alternative clock pitches. I liked the concept of it shooting sparks, Back to the Future, Save the Clock Tower style. I like the idea you had. This one is actually probably the coolest. The one where it's like rewarding you for taking the history resources by doing some sort of, I believe you put it as a whirly-do effect. I approve of that. And yeah, you had some good ideas that were very Vancouver-y, Pacific Northwest-y, hipstery. So that's always good. I am here and willing to and open to listen to all kinds of Gastown improvements that do not include overly celebrating Gassy Jack himself. Vancouver recently tore down a statue of him that was there. Not the city, like a vigilante group physically tore it down. I don't know the specifics about all the stuff that he did wrong, but I do know that he was a white man in the 1800s, and I'm sure he did a bunch of stuff. I don't know the specifics. It may just be a case of probably the wrong guy to be celebrating, but in any case, I liked the history resources. I wish there was like a history plaque that would give you pyrotechnics to celebrate you looking at it. That seems really cool to me. Moving on to Alicia, I think my favorite video of yours over the last couple of weeks of VEDS, I forget where I left off exactly on my last responses video, but I really like the one where the one that you put to the tune of, I believe it was Message in a Bottle, the recording from the Eras Tour show that you went to. I just thought the whole thing was really well put together, how the lyrics of that song may have represented your mood at the time, and also you appear to do pretty much what I do when you're having a difficult, overwhelming day. Sometimes you just gotta kind of lock yourself in your room and do some dancing. It helps. Definitely some vibe reclamation in there, if that made any sense whatsoever. I'm sure you know what I mean. And then also, of course, I always like your ukulele videos. Getting ready to get down, wound up, stuck in my head for a good solid week after that, so thanks for that. And then, yeah, like I think I said in the comments, I thought that your cover of What If This Is All the Love You Ever Get was one of your strongest vocal performances yet, which is awesome. It tends to happen when you make 20 or 30 song cover videos and you play a lot. It's really always cool to see every year the leaps and bounds you've made in that regard. So another fantastic improvement this year. I know you didn't quite get to all the 30 videos you wanted to make this year, unless you come back and surprise me and make 7 more. But like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm so thrilled that we all made the effort to be here this month, and I'd love to see all of y'all again next year. Even if you get one video up at some point during the month, just saying hi. It is good to see each and every one of you, always. Alrighty, moving on to Caleb. You had a few videos in the last couple weeks that I really enjoyed. I really even liked the one talking about the Cubs game you got to see. I'm sorry that it was kind of a lousy game, but I had seen that you were going there through, I don't know, your Instagram or something like that, and I was hoping it would make it into VEDS. I can't remember if I've attended a sporting match and vlogged it for VEDS, but I've certainly done it before. It's one of the most challenging things to vlog because it's virtually impossible to anticipate the action, but really cool that you got to go there. I think you said you went with your dad. Family sports bonding is a real thing. The hockey season has just begun, and it's something of a tradition for me and my dad to make an effort to watch any Vancouver Canucks game if we're both free. And yeah, just a fun little family tradition there. And there's just something about going and seeing live sports that I love. Hockey's pretty much the only major sport that I follow, but I'll go and see just about any sport because it's always super fun live. I'm glad you got the chance to go and do that. My closest team is the Mariners. I gotta go down and see them again next year. Something about going to a baseball game, particularly in a big American market. Americans love their baseball, and it's nice to be in with the atmosphere. I also enjoyed your review of the Chicago concert. Of all the classic rock acts, Chicago's not really one of the ones I got into too much myself. I have not seen Chicago live. I was at the local Canadian equivalent of a county fair sort of thing a couple of summers ago, and Chicago were playing, and again, I don't know many of their songs, so I didn't go to the concert, but what I do remember is the Ferris wheel was kind of close to it, and I read the Ferris wheel, and when it would stop anywhere near the top of its rotation, I could see Chicago playing. So that's as close to a Chicago concert as I've seen. They do seem like one of those bands that is awesome live, so very cool that you got to see that. I kept forgetting in my response videos and stuff, and my comments, I at some point was gonna ask you if you had anything to say in terms of a review of the Billy Joel Stevie Nicks concert you got to see. That package tour was really, really cool, but VEDS is over now, unless you find a way to... I don't know if you were going to do a VEDS wrap-up video super late like I am right now, but I'd love to hear something about that. I've seen Billy Joel twice, but even those were a few years ago now. I'd love to hear how he's holding up. By all accounts from people who have seen that tour, it seems to have been a really good time. Your minifigure collection was really fun to see. I love the little bit from your podcast. That was so funny how he had kept the VeggieTales cassette tapes in just for just for the bit. It's really funny. It's good to have that little video you made, the little highlight thing. It's good to have a little highlight reel of greatest moments from your podcast, especially if y'all have a good rapport like all of you do. Whenever an unpredictable, funny moment comes up, that's always the stuff that really gets people into your show. In fact, it seems to have done that for me. Oh, and I did listen to the Snub Club episode on the Children's Hour. Wow, what a movie that talks about such ahead of its time topics. Of course, whenever you get into something like that, there is the difficult discussion to be had about whether, with period pieces like that, they often come at it from a different perspective than we would consider appropriate or acceptable today. And I thought you guys did a really good job of talking about that, and it made me really intrigued about that movie. I think the episode I'm going to listen to next is the one on Blackboard Jungle, which I only know for being the song that launched Rock Around the Clock, generally considered rock's first #1 hit. James, again, like I said near the beginning of this video, you win the award for consistency, having a video up every day that was of well, you weren't the only person to have a video up every day. You may have been the only person to have it actually time-stamped for the morning. You had asked in your wrap-up video if we liked that or not. I always actually kind of did, because it always meant that when I got up in the morning, I had at least one VEDS video to watch, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, so in no particular order, going through your content that you made in the last couple weeks here that I didn't touch on yet. Oh, I had the most feelings probably about your video about The Good Dinosaur. You know, The Good Dinosaur is a funny little movie. I remember watching it in theaters the week it came out. And again, knowing a little bit about the, not development hell, but the development problems that the movie had, I was a little apprehensive about it, but I was just glad that Pixar was making an original content movie and not another sequel. At that point, I think they've reached a happy balance now, but at that point it felt like there were a few too many sequels and not enough original ideas. But having two movies with two that launched new stories come out in 2015 was really exciting for me. Of course, Inside Out, the other one released that year, is my favorite Pixar movie that they've ever made. I think I did a tier list in VEDS one time. But The Good Dinosaur, I remember enjoying it not being one of my favorites, but like really enjoying it when I watched it in theaters. And then for whatever reason, over the course of the last 8 years or whatever, I've never found myself going back and watching it again, which is weird because Pixar movies usually have like endless replayability for me. I remember certain story elements kind of making me a little bit not confused, but being like, oh, that's the direction they decided to take that. That's okay. But for the most part, you had a pretty heartwarming message. And the one visceral reaction I remember having to the movie, there's that one pretty intense scene where I can't even remember the main character's name, but where they're fighting against like a raging current, and at some point I think they go over a cliff or take a tumble or something. I remember that they in previous Pixar movies, if a character really took a tumble, it would be cartoonized often for comedy, but I understand that comedy was not the point of that scene in this one. But I remember they really didn't shy away from really going heavy on like bruising of the character, and you could like see visible injuries, which you don't get a lot. And I remember kind of recoiling at first, being like, oh, that seems unusual for a Pixar movie. But I gotta go back and watch that one again. I'm glad you, for the most part, liked it. You had a lot of the feelings that I felt I did going out of that movie. And yeah, I don't know why that one's not remembered as fondly as the other ones. I think Pixar has such an outrageously high standard that when a movie is anywhere near mediocrity, even if it's like upper mediocrity, if that makes any sense, in the grand scheme of all Pixar movies, it winds up falling near the bottom. I don't think they'll make a Pixar movie that I liked less than Cars 2, for the record. I think, I was going to say maybe I'll rant about that in the future, but I believe I already did in that Pixar tier list. Oh my god, the Happy Time Murders. What? What even was that? You're talking about how strange it is for them to try to pursue like adult comedy and like suggestive themes in a Muppets movie, and I was like, yeah, that's a difficult thing. And I was thinking, I wonder how they'd pull that off. And when it seemed like you didn't enjoy the movie, I'd be like, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, if you expect or if you grew up with Muppets and now they're doing like it just seems unnatural for those characters to be talking like that. But it's like you said. I believe you said it breaks the number one rule of a comedy movie in that it's not funny. Um, yeah, you showed some of the dialogue from the movie. Uh, yeah, you're exactly right. The problem with the dialogue is not. I like a lot of movies, Mel Brooks movies, and lots of stuff like that that have very crude and gross jokes in them. But yeah, it's not that the jokes were offensive. It's just that, yeah, they fall pretty short of being at all funny or clever. The silly string bit, what was going on there? Yes, like you said, very frat bro-y. I've never seen the movie, and some people, some fellow VEDSies during this month have inspired me to check out some content that I wouldn't watch otherwise. I'm not gonna go back and watch the Happy Time Murders. Hope that's cool. Yeah, I think I got just enough of that one. I liked your video on the Munchlings. I'm not gonna show that one to my girlfriend because she's already obsessed with like squishmallows, and I think if she sees those, she's gonna want me to get her like one of those a week because they seem very adorable though. And then, much like I said earlier with Alicia's videos when I was complimenting her for her ukulele and vocal covers, it's fun to see you every year with your fan dubs and how they just get that little bit better every year as you practice and no doubt get better at. I'm always impressed not only by your vocal acting, voice acting abilities, but also by the post production skills, which have no doubt increased leaps and bounds over the last few years. Um, because there's a lot of just the audio blending of it all. I don't know exactly how you do it. I believe you explained it to me once, but it's far beyond my capabilities, so I'm always impressed when I see that. Same with everything about all your content you made going back to your very first video. That really cool training film that we all loved so much. You really put so much into your videos this month, and we all enjoyed watching them so very much. Oh, and James, your announcement of your big giant video that's going to come out September 1st, I think /2nd, you said next year, on the rise and fall of the Disney Channel original movies. I'm actually so stoked for that. That's the kind of YouTube content I've been really watching lately, are these channels that release maybe one or two videos a year, but they're these major documentaries. I flirted with the idea in my head of doing a long-term piece. Jeffrey, I was just the other day watching your video that Abby filmed for you of you just making your lunch and hot cocoa. I like when the time constraints of our schedules force us to make a slice of life type video. That concept came up a few times during this month. We all have an interesting friendship in which we sort of communicate via this content that we've carefully curated for each other. So it's sometimes fun to see us step outside of that and just, see what each other's day-to-day life looks like. You and Abby also have a very sweet rapport, so it's always fun to see a video with the two of you having fun in it. You mentioned how busy you were in that video, but you got all your videos up on time. You're another one who's in that club, so congratulations. I really enjoyed watching all of it. I really enjoyed your Dream Rolls video, both your regular Dream Rolls video and your Star Kid Dream Rolls video. As a bit of a side tangent on that, I've always imagined that world is so scary of going out for parts in any sort of theater production of any sort of level. The whole process of auditioning is very, very scary. But hopefully, you never know. Maybe you'll get the opportunity to play one of those roles at some point in your life. I like the Star Kid one too, like I said. And another video I've been thinking a lot about. I know I'm sorry I'm picking all the most low-key videos from you, but I really like the video where you almost talked about the Skeleton Creek series again. Again, just in VEDS, if we've been in VEDS for 3 or 4 years, that means we've made at least like 100 videos. And then, yeah, I've made a few hundred just through making videos for a few years and stuff. And that has totally happened to me. I remember, I think it's happened twice now that I've filmed a video and been ready to release it. And then been like, oh no, I made that video already. A similar thing almost happened in this VEDS when I was gonna do a Billy Joel albums video. I was like, wait, I think I've already covered my Billy Joel record collection, but I hadn't ranked them, so I at least added a layer to it there. But it's crazy, right? You know, I remember putting all the work into all these videos. It's crazy how if I go back through the list of videos I've made, how many of them have completely slipped my mind through the years. And yeah, I put a fair amount of effort into 2 separate videos that had to be canceled because my silly self didn't realize that I'd already rambled about that already. So it happens when you make way too many videos, like we all do. Alright, I'm going to wind up with talking about a couple of Tessa's videos over the last couple weeks here. First of all, thank you for putting together that Monster High live stream. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to be a part of it, but hey, that meant that I was able to enjoy it, even though it wasn't live. I watched it sort of in the background of doing work. That's what I really like live streams for. As just sort of semi in background where I am paying attention to it, but it's just sort of there. What a wild game. That actually looks like a lot of fun. I'm personally experiencing a little bit of Jackbox fatigue. I don't know if you guys feel me on that. I feel like every party I go to, someone whips out Jackbox, and I always think of myself as someone who's relatively conversationally funny, but I have trouble coming up with funny things on the spot in that game, and I don't know. I can't explain it, but I'm getting tired of Jackbox. That one almost feels like, I mean, it's a bit of a long campaign. I know you guys spent 2 hours on it, but it seems like a fun game to pick up if you're at a house party with the right people. I feel like that might be fun. So you picked a really good one, and I really enjoyed watching and listening to that. Oh, you talk about annotating your books. I went through a brief phase myself where I would mark, even on CDs and stuff, what songs I liked and what songs I didn't. But then History Boy in me, after a while, was like, what am I doing to these pieces of media? No one's ever going to want these now. Not that I was ever really going to sell them anyway, but no one's... These are objectively not as cool with my pen marks all over them. But that being said, when I collect records, there's a lot of things that would be considered value degrading that I actually really enjoy. If anyone's like drawn or doodled on their albums, I going back to house parties and stuff, I always think, were people messing around at some house party in the 70s getting pens out and mark? It just adds to the story of the piece. Actually, let me show you something that I really think is cool. I know this is a little adjacent from what annotating is, but I just thought it was kind of cool. I got this Boston album one time where in the inner sleeve, and it's sort of falling apart, and I want to protect it, someone just started writing. One side's just got some, they're not coming up on camera well, some little notes that say, like, this one says, remember who you are and all that you have forgotten, all that is important and all that is me and all that is you, this is all you must do. Just written in pencil on this inner sleeve. And on this side, he's got like a spiral thing going on. The words go around in a bit of a spiral, and it's kind of falling apart. But words like truth does not ever change. This is very... just marked this up. Not gonna lie, it's really giving me 70s stoner vibes. You could argue that the paper is slightly smoke stained as well. I don't get any 40-year-old weed smell, but I don't know. I'll never know the exact story, but that's what makes it interesting to me. So I actually like collecting pieces that people have made little markings on because it adds to their story. I like that there was truly an above average amount of Billy Joel discussion in this year's VEDS. Tessa, you also did a top 10 Billy Joel songs video, which was a good one. You had some that wouldn't have been in my list, but they're some good picks. Stuff like Where's the Orchestra, a song I probably don't listen to enough and only recently started to appreciate more. And then Tell Her About It is not one of my favorite. So that comes from a Billy Joel era where people were semi-accusing him of... Every artist has a period where people have decided you've sold out for some reason or another. His sound just got a little bit poppier, but he was just having fun, and that's a good song right out of that era. That would certainly not be that high on my list, but still a good jam. And I even really liked your tier list, your American Girl dolls tier list. I didn't even really totally know what they were, to be honest with you, but even not understanding the source material, really, I still enjoyed hearing your thoughts on that. Okay, and with that, we have come to the end of my last VEDS video on October 12th or 13th or whatever this is. Thanks y'all for watching today and throughout all this month. It is always a bittersweet affair when it is all over. I was gonna say I could take a break from making videos now, but to be fair, I've already kind of spent a week doing that. It's been such a joy to see all your videos this week. Who knows, I still feel like we're gonna get 1 or 2 more wrap-up videos from y'all. If we do, I'll see you then. If not, I'll see you in the Discord, and at very least, next year. I hope we can all make the effort again. Again, even if I feel like the pressure is dying down a little bit for us to make sure we get 30 videos in every month. Just the fact that we're in there trying and carrying on with this community is so much fun. If any of you want to participate in September 2024, be our guest. We're always looking for more people. Gosh, such a joy once again. Thank you for all your kind words on my videos. And my friends and fellow VEDSies, I will see y'all September 1st, 2024. Actually, I'll see y'all a bunch of times because I make videos constantly. But for the drama of it all, I'll see you then. Goodbye.